Hey guys, in this video, I will be talking about the entire call center project map. If you are starting your business in any country, any part of the world, how you should start it, what are the steps those are included, and for at least 120 days or 4 months time, which are all the steps that you should be following. So there are four important steps which comes under contact center planning or the entire project map. Let me take you to my laptop. You can also download this entire project map from my executive program on my website offshoringconsultant.com. But let me take you to my laptop and I will explain you one by one the entire project map. So this is a project map and it's divided into four important milestones. The very first one is project planning, the second is marketing, the third one is sales, and the fourth one is business operations. So what are the key components or what are the milestone activities under this project map? Let's go one by one. So the very first one is project planning. So under project planning, the very first one is divided into three parts: project idea and conceptualization, the second is project report, and the third one is infrastructure and resources. So under project idea and conceptualization, it's basically idea behind starting the contact center. What contact center are you starting it? Where are you starting it? What is your idea behind that? Who is your targeted customers or clientele? Which geography you are catering to? So this entire basic idea is all about project idea and conceptualization. The second one is project report. Under project report, it's divided into significant, the activities or the task under this milestone. We wouldn't go too much into detail and discuss everything because it's very self-explanatory. But if you will say, it's basically defining the scope, understanding the SWOT analysis, that is strength, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. Defining all the strategies is financial strategy, marketing strategy, sourcing strategy, staffing strategy. There are various strategies which you have to consider before you are starting business. If you're starting your contact center in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, then sometimes it's even difficult to define all the strategies because you have to consider the resources and infrastructure availability in your particular city. If you're starting it in if you're starting in any big cities, then it shouldn't be a problem to hire or to have all the infrastructure set up or all the resources available. But in tier 2 or tier 3 cities, it's a little difficult. So you need to consider that well in advance. Now, the second thing about the project report, the second point is about competitive analysis. So when you are starting your contact center, you need to understand what is your competition, which market you are catering to. For example, if you are starting it for a real estate, that's the industry you're targeting in the Western countries. Or if you're starting it for the finance industry, then you need to know who are your competitors, what is the pricing that they're offering, what is their marketing strategy, how they're doing it, and what is your unique selling point, how you stand out in the competition compared to what they are offering. So you need to know everything in advance. So when you're dealing with your potential prospects, you can actually make them understand this is exactly how you stand out and you can get those deals or clients on board. The another thing is about finding competitors, competitor services, competitor pricing, and USP, what we discussed. So that's everything comes under competitive analysis. The next one is about market research. So you need to have a complete market research or the industry research ready. You need to do it. You need to understand the targeting locations. So as we discussed, if you're targeting the US or Canadian market, you need to understand their challenges, their government policies and laws about the outsourcing, any challenges or any opportunities that they are there in the market. You need to have that complete market research done. You can also get those market research done from some of the companies like KPMG, Deloitte. There are various companies or who give this type of services. Or even if you just Google it and then type market research.pdf, you will find a lot of ready market research done by these companies like KPMG and Deloitte. So go through that information is going to help you a lot. Now coming back to the next point about 1.3, infrastructure and resources. This is your third step in project planning. This third step is about getting the licenses and registration, because by now you have understood which market you're focusing, who is your competition, what are your strengths and weaknesses and opportunity and threats. So you have understood everything. You have a detailed project report. You know which industry you're focusing on. So you can actually start executing your strategies. This is a time of execution. So now you can actually start with getting, the very first thing is licensing and registration of the business. The second thing is about place selection. So where you are selecting it, in which city you are selecting it, how far is it from the city area, the city center. So that also you have to take it into consideration, or you are starting it virtually, virtual contact center. So what is your mode of operation? You have to consider that. The third thing is about infrastructure setup. So you have to actually set up the infrastructure. It's not only about the furniture or offices, but it's also IT infrastructure that includes your servers, firewall, routers, networking system, the LAN cabling, the lease lines, internet cable, so everything, the VoIP. So it needs to have entire infrastructure ready, the data security. So you have to consider all those things that comes under infrastructure setup. The another thing is resource allocation. So resource allocation, that means actually hiring the employees, talent acquisition. So everything comes under resource allocation. So you have to allocate those resources for this particular project, and then start with your marketing activities. So now we will go and discuss the next point, which is marketing. Now marketing is so vast, it's so really vast, we cannot cover that entire thing in this video, but if we just summarize it in a couple of points, then marketing, we can divide it into 2 points. One is branding and positioning, the second is targeted content and advertisements. But apart from that, there will be lead generation, and there will be various other activities that can come under marketing. But now let's discuss about branding and positioning. So branding and positioning, the very first point that you need to consider is create your corporate website and your social media presence, which is very important in 2022, because people consider all those things. They watch, they get engaged with your content, they follow on social media. So this actually helps you to bring more clients on board. Another thing is networking events like seminars and events. You can actually go and attend those seminars and events, trade shows, industry conferences. You can go and check out industry association conferences and go and attend those. So that will help you to increase or enhance your network, business network, and that will help you to reach your business goals. So you can actually create branding and positioning of your business. The next thing is about targeted content and advertisement. So that includes your video content, which is a very important thing. Video is a king in content, we can say, because nowadays people don't prefer to watch or prefer to read a huge content like reading the blog posts and articles, but they prefer to watch 3 minutes, 5 minutes videos and then get educated about how it will help their business. So if you have a targeted video or organic video content published on all social media platforms like YouTube, Facebook, LinkedIn, that's going to give you immense results. So make sure that you have video content, and of course blogs and articles, because some people would prefer to watch blogs and articles. It also helps in search engine optimization to give you some ranking of your website on Google search engine or any other search engines. So that will also help you. Apart from video content and blog and articles, the next thing is ads on LinkedIn and Google and YouTube. It depends on your budget, what budget you have, but you can consider any multinational companies, they have huge budgets to promote their business, services or products. So if you have certain budget assigned, I would always recommend you that publish some advertisements on LinkedIn, Google or YouTube. LinkedIn is very expensive when it comes to advertisements, but you can also consider that on Google and YouTube. So find out the keywords used by your targeted audience. So for example, if your targeted audience is the business owners and real estate community, if those are the business owners and you're giving them services of data processing, inbound, outbound sales, then what would be the search criteria that they will be putting it in the search engines? Think in their terms what search criteria they will be using, and then you have to publish your advertisements according to those keywords. Apart from that is the lead capture. Once you have this all leads coming on your landing pages of your corporate website, then you need to have a lead capture. So you need to get their details of their first name, last name, job title, geographies, all these details you need to capture it and then upload it onto your CRM. So you can target that same audience through sending emails or doing phone calls. You can engage that same audience, because once you have the lead, and if you're missing out on those leads, hot leads, then you are actually leaving the opportunity on the table. So you need to make sure you capture that lead and engage those leads, nurture those leads, which is very important to get clients on board. Now, after marketing, the next thing is about sales. Many people, they focus more on sales and they focus less on marketing, but marketing and sales goes in hand, especially in international market. If you're entering, only focusing on sales is not going to help you. So let's check out what are the activities when it comes to sales. It's divided significantly into three parts. Very first thing is appointment generation, second is sales cycle, and the third thing is client onboarding. So in appointment generation, it's basically email automation. Now you have the leads coming from the marketing side, so you need to set up email automation in CRM. Second is focusing on LinkedIn messages. So you start using LinkedIn Sales Navigator because that helps you to message anyone. They give you option to actually email anyone, even if those people are not in direct contacts, you can email them through LinkedIn. And then third thing is virtual meetings. So like Zoom meetings, Google meetings, walk them through your corporate presentation. You need to have that ready. So have a decent professional corporate presentation ready, and then set up virtual meetings once you have the appointment generated. The next thing is about sales cycle. So sales cycle, this is also another thing that many people lack in understanding this. Once you have appointment generated, once you're talking to any of these leads, they're not going to come on board. They're not going to be your potential clients immediately from the next meeting. Especially in B2B segment, there are a lot of meetings which are conducted. Several meetings are conducted, and any lead, it goes through a journey of sales cycle to become your client. So what is that sales cycle? How much time does it take to, from your first conversation to signing the contract? How much time does it take? So sales cycle is basically qualifying the lead. That every person that you talk to or every business that you talk to is not necessarily that it is qualified. So you need to understand whether the lead matches your qualification criteria. That means if it is from the same industry that you are targeting, if they make the same revenue what you're looking for, their overall turnover, they make it, or it's just a startup company and they cannot afford your services, then another thing is that they can actually outsource those many jobs to your company. Or is it just one or two jobs that they can outsource it? Then there's no point in having so many discussions and follow-ups. Apart from that, basically the qualification criteria is to understand whether that entire company falls into qualification criteria. Apart from that, the next thing is need analysis. Whether this company or the potential lead that you are speaking with, do they really need your services? So if they don't need it, they're just going to keep having some more discussions. But if they're in the real need, if they're hungry for the services what you're providing, if they are looking for such kind of outsourcing solutions, or if they are already dealing with the existing vendor, they're not happy with their services and they're considering some other alternatives for it, then they're in actual need of it, and there are high chances that they will come on board, compared to any other leads. So need analysis is important. The next thing is finding decision maker. So this is the third thing in sales cycle, that you need to find out who's the decision maker in their company, the president, vice president, owner, whoever is the decision maker, and then engage that particular decision maker by sending follow-up emails, having multiple meetings with them, engage with them, develop that relationship with them, business relationship with them, and that's going to help you to bring that client on board. The next thing is sending proposal. So finally send the proposal to them, business proposal or corporate presentation what you have made, and then finally negotiation and signing the contract. Negotiation is basically negotiating on the prices what you have offered them, and then signing the contract, which is the last thing, which is client onboarding. So this everything comes under sales cycle. This is the third thing in project mapping of call center. And finally the fourth thing is business operations. So in business operations, there are two important activities, which is staffing and process transitioning. Under staffing, it's creating job description. So when you are staffing or hiring employees, the first thing comes is creating job description. Second thing is talent acquisition. Either you can do it through your recruiters, if you have your own recruiters, or human resource team, then you can hire from them. Otherwise, you can outsource it to some of the companies like Kelly Services or Mafoy or Manpower. There are various international companies, or Randstad. There are various international companies who does this staffing. So you can just simply hire them, pay them 8.33% of the total CTC what you are giving it to your employee, or typically 1 month salary, and then easily hire those employees. Another thing is about training and development. So training and development comes in two ways. One is voice and accent training. So any candidate that you are hiring, you should go through that voice and accent training to speak with international clients. And the second training is process training. So the voice and accent training is supposed to be conducted by the vendor, that is your company, and the process training is supposed to be given by the client side. So the clients give the first time, they give the process training, you have to document the entire process, and then you can do the cross training with the rest of the team. So that is about training and development. After staffing, the next thing is about process transitioning. So process transitioning is basically migrating or getting the process from international offices to your home country. So if your office is situated in India or the Philippines or Jamaica, wherever your office is located, contact center is located, getting that process from the US, Canada, UK, Australia to your country and then setting up. So what are the steps included in that? The very first thing is process learning, that is understanding the process. Second is documenting the process. So document every single thing what client has trained you on. The third thing is client approval. So anything that you're documenting, you need to get the approval from them, from the client. And then finally staff allocation, then allocating the staff and then start executing the process, like you actually execute the process according to the client's SLA, service level agreement. So these are the steps which are included. I'm uploading this project map also on the executive program, which is on my website offshoringconsultant.com. You can simply take the access of executive program. There is a lot of material there, so you can simply take the access. Some example project report is also there, in detailed project report, including the SWOT analysis, competitive analysis, market research, all the steps what I just explained you, it's explained there in detail. So that might help you a lot. So you can take the access of that program. In case if you have any questions about the contact centers, call center industry, you can WhatsApp me on +91 9511 841495. Also visit my website offshoringconsultant.com. And in case if you have any further questions, we can also set up a Zoom call or Google Meet. Thank you very much.